In the glittering world of gold mining, where fortunes are dug from the heart of the earth, one name stands out: Rick Ness. Known for his uncanny ability to strike gold, Rick has etched his legacy in the Klondike's history. But hold on. This time, Rick's journey takes an unexpected turn. He faces a pivotal moment that could reshape his mining future. What life-altering decision has Rick made, and how will it steer the course of his gold-hunting saga? There's more. Brace yourselves for the arrival of an inspiring figure, ready to lend a helping hand in Rick's most challenging hour. Who is this mystery person, and how will they impact Rick's quest for gold? Join us to delve into a mining adventure like never before that will lead to Rick's biggest gold haul ever. Success isn't just about luck, it's about rolling up your sleeves and putting in the hard work. That's something that the indomitable Rick Ness believes in. Now, he finds himself facing a daunting challenge. A gold production goal that seems to be slipping through his fingers. Despite the hefty investments in top-tier equipment, Rick is dealing with machinery issues. Different hurdles are emerging, putting a wrench in the gears of progress, but the twists and turns in this mining saga don't end there. On top of all that, Rick is at a crossroads, facing a crucial decision about the ownership of the land. But the heart of the challenge lies in the earth itself. The act of digging and extracting precious gold from the depths becomes a battle against time and nature. It's a struggle that Rick faces head-on, with determination etched on his face. In the vast expanse of the mining frontier, Rick Ness is facing a pivotal moment in his gold-hunting journey. Having staked his entire season on a daring move, a deep cut that promised a potential $5 million in gold, the reality is not living up to the glittering dream. The 190-foot deep cut, the bold gamble that could lead to a substantial payday, is yet to yield the expected results. The goal is 2,000 ounces of gold, but this weight of the goal hangs heavy on Ness's shoulders, not just for the sake of his crew, but for his own survival in the unforgiving world of gold mining. A world into which Rick has poured his heart, soul, and a considerable amount of resources, expecting a gold rush that would make headlines. However, the reality is a bit different. The very ground he walks on holds the key to his mining empire's destiny. However, the landowner has different plans for Rick. Troy Taylor, who is the owner of Duncan Creek, the claim on which Rick is working under the lease, pays an unexpected visit to Rick, who is already under stress for not meeting the gold production goal. Cutting right to the chase, Rick questions the purpose behind Taylor's unanticipated visit, and Taylor, without beating around the bush, dives straight into the heart of the matter. His revelation hangs in the air, laden with potential implications. He wants to sell the Duncan Creek. Rick is now confronted with a significant personal decision. The prospect of owning his own ground looms large, and the gravity of this choice could reshape the entire trajectory of his mining journey. Imagine the dilemma. On one side, the security of owning the land beneath which potential fortunes lie, and on the other, the challenge of meeting the production goals with the clock ticking. It's a decision that could either propel Rick into a new era of mining success or add another layer of complexity to his already intricate venture. But that's not the interesting part. Taylor, with a matter-of-fact demeanor, reveals the terms. $250,000 as a down payment, equivalent to 150 ounces of gold. Now that's how you make a deal with the gold diggers. Surprised by the unexpected proposition, Rick finds himself deep in thought. The idea of owning the very land he's been working on is both appealing and overwhelming. Unsure about taking such a significant step, Rick acknowledges that he is not sure if he can take such a massive step at this already challenging moment. The financial commitment attached to this decision plays on his mind, creating a whirlwind of considerations. As the discussion unfolds, Rick wrestles with the weight of this unforeseen opportunity. The offer of $250,000 or 150 ounces of gold is undeniably substantial. Troy Taylor, after presenting the terms, leaves Rick to contemplate the magnitude of the decision. The gravity of the situation hangs in the air, and Rick is left to grapple with the potential impact on his gold mining journey. The allure of ownership clashes with the daunting prospect of financial responsibility, setting the stage for a pivotal moment in Rick Ness's mining saga. How will the mind boss navigate this unexpected twist in the tale? Will he seize the opportunity, or will the weight of the decision prove too much? The stakes are high, the pressure is on, and the future of Duncan Creek claims hangs in the balance, but it's the mind boss we're talking about. And to make the decision, he has to tackle the other obstacles first. Every miner knows that a glitch in the machinery can translate to lost time and, more importantly, lost gold. Despite heavy investments and state-of-the-art machinery worth millions, the results are not quite hitting the mark. It's a tough spot to be in, especially when your aspirations are as grand as Rick's. The machinery, boasting cutting-edge technology, stands as a testament to Rick's commitment. But, as every seasoned miner knows, the gold beneath the ground doesn't always give in easily. Rick is stuck dealing with a big problem, and he can't tackle it solo. He's in need of help, but the question is, who can he turn to? The first person who crosses Rick's mind in this crucial moment is none other than his reliable dad. With winter approaching, he calls his father for assistance, hoping to bring in the energy needed to finish the season strong. Rick's dad shows up and is pretty amazed by the whole mining setup. He's all in to help out however he can. The two of them now tackle the problem together, dealing with the challenges of mining and figuring out a way forward. The first problem he deals with is the wash plant. With Monster Red running on a tight crew, Rick faces a tough time finding more workers. His dad jumps in to lend a hand and keep things going smoothly. Seeing the mining operation scale, Rick's dad figures he can help out. Without any hesitation, he gets down to work, doing everything needed to keep Monster Red up and running. At Duncan Creek, Rick encounters a hurdle with his 700 excavator. A cracked hydraulic line threatens to slow down the crucial task of clearing tailings. It's a setback that demands immediate attention. Rick, with a determined look on his face, asks his dad to help there too. Rick's dad, not a stranger to hard work, steps into the role of a makeshift mechanic. With tools in hand, they inspect the excavator, and the problem becomes clear: a cracked hydraulic line. It's a hands-on challenge, but Rick's dad isn't one to back down. They work together, making the welding process seem like a puzzle they are determined to solve. After a series of intense efforts, welding, and a bit of elbow grease, the hydraulic issue is fixed. The 700 excavator roars back to life, ready to dig into the tailings and keep the gold production on track. It's a testament to the resilience of the team and their ability to handle unexpected setbacks. With the excavator back in action, the crew dives back into their work, ensuring that every bucket of pay dirt contributes to their season's ambitious gold goal. Whether it's fixing up equipment or helping out in the wash plant, Rick's dad becomes a key part of the team. His experience and hands-on approach bring a new burst of energy, making sure every part of the mining process works like a well-oiled machine. The teamwork between father and son turns challenges into victories. Together, they tackle the ups and downs of mining life, using their combined knowledge to handle whatever comes their way. As Monster Red chews through the pay dirt, it's not just the machines doing the heavy lifting. It's the power of a united team working towards those big gold goals. Despite the challenges, including equipment breakdowns and a flooded cut, the team is determined to reach the season's gold target of 2,000 ounces. The camaraderie between Rick and his dad becomes evident as they tackle repairs together. From fixing machinery issues to maintaining equipment, it's a hands-on collaboration that highlights the importance of a reliable support system. Rick's dad, a testament to the saying, "Actions speak louder than words," embodies the spirit of a true partner in this challenging gold mining journey. Even with the valuable assistance from his dad, Rick finds himself caught in a web of challenges that extend beyond the immediate repairs. In the pursuit of the elusive gold goal and land ownership, Rick must not only contend with mechanical hurdles but also navigate the intricate dynamics of the gold mining world. Each step forward requires a careful calculation, a strategic move, and a relentless determination to overcome whatever obstacles lay in his path. The journey is far from over, and the suspense continues to build as Rick strives to turn his mining dream into a golden reality. And to achieve his dream, he has to beat the cold. As winter's chill creeps in, Rick Ness finds himself standing at the crossroads of a critical decision: how to increase gold production before the icy grip of winter puts a freeze on their operations. Feeling the weight of the looming goal and the pressure to deliver, Rick huddles with his crew, including Kyle Lawson, a newcomer to the gold mining scene with an ironworking background. What steps can Rick take to boost production before the ground freezes and winter poses a threat to his gold mining goals? So, in a bold move, Rick proposes a plan that could potentially change the game. He suggests the simultaneous operation of both wash plants, Monster Red and the trusty Rocky. It's a strategy that, if executed flawlessly, could significantly elevate their gold output. Kyle Lawson, despite being relatively new to the gold mining arena, is entrusted with the responsibility of operating one of the wash plants solo. Can Rick's trusted crew member, Kyle Lawson, uphold the trust placed in him and assist Rick in achieving his dream gold haul? Well, the announcement hung in the air and the crew sensed the gravity of the situation, and Kyle, with a mix of nerves and determination, accepted the challenge. Operating a wash plant alone can be quite overwhelming, especially for someone still getting the hang of things. The potential challenges, especially the threat of tailings causing blockages, are significant concerns. Duncan Creek is ready for a high-stakes operation. With determination etched on his face, Kyle makes his way to the wash plant. The rhythmic hum of the machinery echoes through the mining site as Kyle navigates through the controls, juggling the intricate dance of equipment and pay dirt. The crew watches with bated breath, unsure of what the outcome will be. Despite the initial nervousness, Kyle begins to find his rhythm. The wash plant responds to his commands, and the pay dirt starts flowing smoothly. The potential catastrophe of tailings causing a shutdown becomes a distant worry as Kyle defies the odds and keeps the operation running like a well-oiled machine. Another problem solved, and now just one to go, till Rick smoothens his journey towards his goal. Rick Ness is facing another tough challenge that could make or break his entire season. The crew has been digging for 10 weeks, and finally, they hit the good pay layer they've been aiming for. But there's a major setback. The whole area is flooded with 6 feet of water. To tackle this problem, Rick decides to bring in a robust 10-inch pump, generously provided by the landowner, Troy Taylor. The team gets to work, setting up the pump with hopes that it can handle the large volume of water in the cut. Success with the pump is crucial because it's the key to drying out the area, enabling them to get to the valuable pay dirt below. Despite facing obstacles, including the hefty $40,000 cost of the pump, Rick stays positive and determined. The moment arrives as the pump kicks into action, proving its worth against the waterlogged conditions. With the flooded area slowly drying up, the crew can finally focus on what they came for, extracting the long-awaited, valuable pay dirt that could turn their luck around. As the week unfolds, the results exceed expectations. The gold weight from Monster Red and Rocky combined paints a picture of success. The decision to entrust Kyle with a crucial role pays off. Rick's strategies and his dad's love prove that sometimes the boldest moves and the company of the loved ones lead to the greatest victories. After the challenges, the narrative takes an unexpected turn, injecting a dose of triumph into the mining saga. The crew, once faced with uncertainty, now stands united, motivated by the success of a well-executed plan because they are about to achieve the unexpected. So, here they have it. A whopping 219.8 ounces out of Monster Red and an additional 95 ounces from Rocky. Time for drumroll, because the grand total stands at an impressive 315 ounces, translating to over $500,000. You heard it right, folks. This is not just another gold weigh-in. It's a record breaker.
You're acting like a toddler, Rick. You are making an enemy out of me.
It's not what I intended.
Parker, man.
Yeah, I'm going out mining on my own. I've got an opportunity, and I'm going to take it.
Jeez.
The cast of Gold Rush are old associates all these years later with a lot of shared history together. However, from among the stars of the show, none have as long a history and friendship as Parker Schnabel and Rick Ness. So, when things got difficult for Rick Ness recently, he knew exactly who to turn to for help.
But it's not the answer for the season. I need something I can rely on. So I want to see Parker right now. I heard he just bought a whole nother mine. It's been a few years. I really don't know what to expect here.
None other than his old boss and good friend, gold mining wunderkind, Parker Schnabel. Team Ness is hard at work, but it becomes apparent that Rick requires more crew members if he wants to hit all of his goals for the season. No one else is coming in, adding a lot of pressure to Morgan Lauren, a new member of the team. Another issue that is adding to the pressure is the shabby state of the equipment. Morgan points out that the work would be completed much faster if they were able to bring in some newer equipment. While she concedes that the old rented loader does run and gets the task done, she hesitates to call it efficient or even fully functional. As she explains the issues with the loader, she reveals that it's missing its front cab. This means that she has been eating a ton of dirt, and the massive, powerful tires have been kicking up a storm of sand and dirt into her face the whole time. This issue sounds mostly humorous until one imagines the danger of consuming that much dirt, not to mention the damage caused to the loader by having a ton of dirt getting into the cab and the controls. As Rick and Morgan work, they make a greater dent in the pile of dirt. However, even with their speed and dedication, soon something goes wrong. Morgan exits her loader in concern and notices that something is very wrong with her vehicle. She quickly exits the loader and hurries over to the loader's side, observing that the machine is leaning over in a very precarious manner. After a quick look, she determines that the leaning is being caused by a flat tire. She pulls out her walkie-talkie and contacts Rick, informing him of her need to shut down the plant because of her loader's flat tire. Rick quickly goes over to the wash plant and stops all activity.
Rick brought down the 750 for me, and we flew the 330 up there to do tailings. As long as we can keep this gold rolling up to the plant, that's the only thing that matters.
This is to save money and energy from a machine that can cost him a ton of money if it is not actively separating gold from dirt at all times. Rick is upset and decides that he needs to do whatever it takes to remedy this problem. Finding a replacement loader or a new tire is his first thought. He drives away in his truck, musing over where he has an old loader stored for such an occasion. However, after some consideration, he decides that the loader he has is not going to be the answer to this current problem, since he needs something he can rely on, not to break down. This is where Rick explains that he heard his old boss, Parker Schnabel, just bought an entirely new mine and it came with a ton of equipment with it. The hope Rick has is that the equipment will have a spare motor somewhere that he can use. While he is hopeful that Parker will be able to solve his problem, he is nervous to speak to him as it has been a couple of years since they had any real conversation.
How you been, bud?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. So you're back.
I'm back.
How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Good.
Yeah.
Rick doesn't know what to expect, but thinks that they'll be able to make a deal. Parker and Rick have a history as deep as any mining operation, having met when Parker hired Rick when he was 17 years old and just starting his career in the gold mining industry. At the time, Parker wasn't the big shot buying multiple million-dollar mines. He had just a small gold claim to his name. However, these early days are critical to the man he would become, and Rick was a crucial component to his success. Rick and Parker worked together and created a deep bond as they rose in experience and achievement those first few years. Rick Ness eventually became Parker's foreman, but not everything was smooth sailing. When their relationship started to get rocky, they said things to each other they couldn't take back. This was a huge turning point for Rick Ness, because he decided that what he really wanted was to strike out on his own. Rick informed Parker that he had received a great opportunity to be his own boss, and he was going to take it, quitting his position as foreman for Parker's crew. It was a difficult parting, and since then, they haven't spoken face to face until today. Rick expresses his excitement to see his old friend again and hopes that Parker will feel the same.
Can you believe that?
How much does that weigh?
That one is 1.54 ounces.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Wow.
There is also the issue of Rick's break from gold mining last year, which he is sure Parker already knows about. He wonders if those rumors will change the reception he gets from his old boss. Parker comes down from his loader and immediately makes a joke as he greets Rick. Rick picks up the joke and they share a big laugh, breaking the tension immediately. It feels as though no time has passed at all as they hug. Parker immediately asks how Rick is feeling now that he's back, showing his concern for his health. In a kind move, Parker tells him that he has always had faith that he would survive the hard times and come right back to the business when he was ready. Rick is vulnerable as he admits that he has struggled recently and that looking back, he thinks his best years were with Parker, as he was more productive back then. Parker admits that when he first started as a gold miner with his own claim, he had no idea what he was doing. They bond over how lost they had been at the beginning and how their golden years were spent together. Rick admits that he learned a lot from his time with Parker and that he feels like he's reclaiming some of that youthful energy they had back then, now that he is back and ready to work. Finally, after their sentimental reunion, Parker asks whether Rick has made his way over to catch up or if there is something he needs. Rick immediately admits that of course, he comes all this way because he needs something and prepares to ask for this big favor. Rick tells him that he needs a loader, and Parker immediately tells him that his team inherited a ton of equipment and guides him over to his truck to take a look at all the equipment. When Parker Schnabel bought the Dominion Creek claim, he also purchased everything that was on it. So any tools and machines left behind were included in the purchase.
Okay, sounds good.
We're gonna put Brennan on that end with the 750. I'm gonna keep chewing away down here with the 480, but I got a feeling he's gonna be catching on me pretty fast.
Parker admits that after buying it, he has not even inspected or cataloged everything that came with it. However, the purchase did include $2 million worth of equipment. Rick hops onto the loader on Dominion Creek and starts it up to test its functionality. The sound of the motor passes their quick inspection, and Rick tries to cut a deal right away for the use of the loader. Parker tells him that there will be no deal. Instead, he tells Rick that he hates talking about money, but he especially hates it when it comes to friends. He tells Rick that he can use it, no deal or money exchange is needed. He instead tells him that they can just work it out in the fall. He elaborates that if Rick hits the mother lode, then he will expect a few ounces of gold as rent, but otherwise they're all good. What Parker says is that if the loader helps him, he's happy to lend it. What he truly wants is for Rick to get back on his feet. This is a very humbling moment for Rick, as he realizes that Parker is a true friend to him, even after all their differences. Parker admits that it is a small gesture, but that he hopes it's better than denying him and not mending bridges out of pettiness. Rick is very thankful to him, and Parker suggests that he comes to pick up the loader when the roads clear up a bit. The difficulty of moving the loader may even necessitate bringing a trailer out to move it, but no one is willing to haul such heavy equipment at this time in the season. The problem of transporting the loader over to Rick's claim is overshadowed by the emotional reunion between the two old friends. When Parker is finally alone, he admits that he was surprised to see Rick again, since they have a lot of unspoken history between them. One thing that he is ruminating over is how Rick mentioned that he gave Parker his best years. To Parker, that sounds like crazy talk, because in his mind, Rick Ness has not even reached his best years in the gold mining industry yet. In Parker's eyes, Rick is still very young, only 42 years old, but he understands that perhaps mentally and emotionally the past few years
we got to keep the ball rolling, so whatever we got to do, right?
Yeah. The reward there is hopefully 30 feet of pay underneath that, right? And good stuff.
Have taken a heavy toll on his old friend. He wishes that things would get better for Rick, and that his small favor will be a step in that direction.
Been able to handle it, we would have been a little farther ahead than we are, but in that 10-inch pump, like that's certainly got the power to do it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that came with a price tag.
Rick has been able to pay off his royalties for the year to Troy, and is starting to feel better about this year's haul. Despite beginning his season 2 weeks later than everyone else, he is proud to say that he and his team have been moving along very well and have been working at full capacity. They have their hopper feeder in place and working through their pay dirt steadily. His goal of 1,000 gold ounces for the season is more urgent than ever now that he has a clear path ahead of him with no debts hanging over his head. The failure of last year cannot be repeated, as he failed to meet his goal and barely broke even. Rick plans to put some gold in the safe as the gold prices have shot way up.
This is great. I mean, 206 ounces, man, that's awesome. If we just keep going deeper, and that's just going to get better.
That's the next challenge, right?
Yeah.
He needs to turn things around this year or find a new career after past failures. Rick commiserates with his other crew members, saying that the past year felt like they were moving dirt around for fun rather than mining for gold. The past 4 weeks have been spent making their way through the cheap cut, where the gold is all found on the highest layer of dirt, practically sparkling in the sun. As they reflect on their mistakes and their work this season, they identify their biggest problem for this year. Their newest recruit, Mark, informs them that they are almost out of pay dirt from the cheap cut. This means that they have no pay to feed the wash plant, Rocky, and no gold to collect. Even the new guy knows that with only a day's worth of cheap cut pay left, they are going to have to look for new ground to sluice. An experienced gold miner, Rick knew that this was a problem that would come up sooner rather than later. So, Rick has been looking for a new area to mine. This pressing need for more pay dirt has fed the drive to explore the area and find new ground to mine. This urgency and success in the cheap cut has renewed Rick's passion for gold mining. He believes that his many years of experience have given him an edge and skill for this kind of gold and pay dirt prospecting. As Rick stands surveying the land, he points out piles of dirt that he feels could have the best gold content they've ever encountered. He points out a corner in the area that he has high hopes for, noting how all the dirt is piled up together. But why does he feel that way? Well, 20,000 years ago, on Lower Duncan Creek, a glacier once pushed up a mound of rock and dirt, known as a moraine, to the edge of the cheap cut. Rick believes that this blockage has trapped gold all up against it over the centuries. All gold that has washed down from the mother lode. If his theory is right, he has stumbled across a buildup of gold that has been growing for ages. Rick gathers the dirt and rock from where he believes the glacier created the moraine and puts it in his panning bowl. His belief is that this could be the best gold they found all year, and with the price of gold only increasing, he would make some of the largest profit margins in recent memory. He carefully pans the dirt in the nearby water, and he determines that he needs to see at least 15 to 20 distinct colors in the pan to make the area a viable location. Extending the cut is a decision that could make or break his career at this point.
You pull that big rock out of there?
I did, 2 of them, building Stonehenge here.
Where you start hitting those big boulders like that, like you're in the right spot.
The Ness crew at Duncan Creek is busy extending the cheap cut, trying to determine whether Rick's hunch is correct. Mark keeps adding to a stockpile of pay dirt that is meant to keep the wash plant running. They cannot afford to shut down. However, a problem arises when they lose water pressure over at the wash plant. This is extremely frustrating as it feels as though the team is being delayed and set back every single day, unable to catch up. The leak in the water pump is quickly spotted and tells them they have to shut down operations for the day until it is patched. All of this downtime is a huge red flag, so they decide against fixing the leak and instead replacing the water pump entirely. Carl brings in the backup and they hurry to install it with the help of a crane. The replacement won't start up, causing their hopes to come crashing down. Rick Ness needs to calculate whether his decision to extend the cheap cut will pay off. Before getting to the numbers, Rick makes small talk and eases the tension in the room. Part of being a leader is tending to one's subordinates, and that's something Rick doesn't forget. Finally, they get down to business, and Rick pulls out the scale. To reach their gold weight, Rick would need an ounce of gold per 100 yards from this extension of the cheap cut. They have run over 7,000 yards, and Rick needs at least 70 ounces from this venture. The gold is carefully poured onto the scale, and it measures well over 70 ounces, reaching 82.37 ounces. This is a fantastic showing, especially because gold prices are up at a massive $1,750 an ounce. This means that Rick has mined $144,000 worth of gold from the cheap cut extension. His hunch, combined with his knowledge of the history and geography of Alaska, has paid off in a big way. This is Rick's biggest haul of the season. Everyone is left amazed, as they have never seen such a good cleanup with their own eyes before. Rick reflects on how they never came anywhere close to this last year. It seems that his theory about the moraine was proven correct, and he found an amazing cache of gold.
At this point, it's only numbers like that we need. They kind of got to keep going up, so.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot more of it out here, right, on this property, so.
A few more hauls like this, and their season will go very smoothly. It also eases concerns that their late start in the season would irrevocably destroy their chances of meeting their gold ounce goal. It's barely September, and the weather has turned colder, covering the land in snow and slowing down operations for the Ness crew. This is a warning that the end of the season is around the corner, despite everyone believing they should still be experiencing autumn weather. Rick is upset, as he believes his wash plant, Rocky, should still be running at this time in the season. However, after helping him bring in his biggest gold ounce haul in the season only a week ago, his wash plant, Rocky, has shut down unexpectedly. The weather will not allow for water to run through the machine without freezing and disrupting the equipment. This didn't stop the team, but the more they tried to push the wash plant, the slower it would go. The longer and longer lengths of time it takes to use the wash plant end up costing them more time and money than just shutting it off. Rick comes to the hard decision that Rocky is done for the year, and now all efforts have to be focused on their second wash plant, Monster Red. While Rick understands that striking out on his own is risky, he thought the rewards would be worth it. A lot of people doubted he would be able to survive on his own like that, but so far, Rick has been able to prove them wrong. However, now with one wash plant down and the weather getting colder by the day, he is starting to have doubts. This is only his third season on his own after leaving the Klondike and finding the big gold in the mountains. Rick has invested a $250,000 deposit to purchase his claims, but the end of the mining season is creeping up, and he still needs 550 ounces to reach his target of 2,000 ounces of gold. Over the walkie-talkies, Rick gets a message asking him to check out a situation the crew is having with water. Rick races down to a massive pond of water where his worker is meant to be smoothing out the area. He tells him that they are going to need to get a pump to remove the water and give them access to the pay dirt below. After digging for over 2 months, the Ness crew are 170 feet down in the Raleigh Valley.
We finally got our hopper feeder in, and I paid off Troy his royalties for the year, so that feels really good.
This valley is completely filled with water, making it impossible for their equipment to traverse. The high-grade pay in the Raleigh Valley is something that the entire Ness crew is relying on to save this season and career. The 6 feet of water is a huge obstacle that will take time and money to remove. The pump is working, but the valley has only flooded out again, even with the work put into clearing it, setting them back even further than before. Rick's pump is only 6 inches and is no match against the estimated 6,000 gallons of groundwater currently flooding the valley. The water is leaking into the cut every moment. They realize that their plan is ineffectual and that the water pump doesn't work correctly either. Rick remembers that the Taylors have a 10-inch water pump sitting somewhere in their own equipment stash, and the only issue Rick can recall it having is that it has not been used for a couple of years. Their next step is to plumb up the hoses and place the equipment into position. Rick is worried since he knows they don't have much time left, and they need to get to the pay dirt as quickly as possible. The only thing standing in the way is the aider. Chris, a member of the Ness crew, explains that now that they have the 10-inch water pump, they will hopefully get this water cleared and the land dried out soon. Rick managed to drill the hose into place and tells the crew to fire it up. To everyone's relief, the pump turns on. Powered by a giant 465-horsepower dozer engine, the pump is said to be able to empty an Olympic swimming pool in just 70 minutes. This is around 660,000 gallons of water in over an hour. Rick points out how they can see the water being sucked out from feet away, and the hose spits out gallons of water in moments. This is a huge improvement to the wimpy 6-inch water pump that only made the flooding worse. Rick believes that when they arrive in the morning, the valley will be ready to be sluiced and the dirt relocated. The ability to shift their attention from the water and back to the gold is a good sign that they are making progress with this season's gold ounce goal.
I don't know why I'm so nervous. It's the first one of the year.
You seem a little giddy.
I am. Well, all right, I can't talk anymore. I gotta go.
Let's make it rain, boys.
Woo.
The next day, Rick greets his crew in the break room, in higher spirits than before. They have lost 2 days fighting the flooding in the Raleigh Valley, all while trying to avoid letting the recent cold weather from freezing them out of the rest of the season. Shutting down operations would be disastrous at this time. It is crucial that the Raleigh Valley delivers them the gold they need. Rick is still reflecting on where things went wrong, and he regrets that the first water pump did not work, as it would have saved them a lot of time that was wasted in bringing in the second pump and having to install it. They are grateful to have found the second pump, but now Rick reveals that it came with a price tag. Rick spoke to Troy, and according to him, he did not mind lending the water pump as long as Rick was willing to purchase it outright. With no other choice left to him, Rick had to pay $40,000 for the 10-inch water pump. This sets them back even more, as they now have to calculate the amount of gold they need to pay back the expense of the second water pump. Nobody is too upset about this news, as they needed the pump desperately, and they would not have been able to find another in time to dry out the Raleigh Valley. Rick pulls out a water bottle filled with gold and says that he believes by the weight of it that they have made quite a bit of money, and that their hard work and purchase of the pump will pay out. Then he takes out another water bottle filled with gold that he says is worth $100,000. The scale is set up, and they start pouring in the gold. To hit the 2,000 gold ounce weight goal for this season, they will need to mine a whopping 550 ounces of gold before they pack up for the year. The scale slowly fills up with gold, and the final weight comes out to 106.9 ounces of gold. Rick then adds the 106 plus 100 gold in the other bottle to a total of 206,000 gold ounces mined. When calculated, this would give the gold a total of $370,000 combined. After this count, Rick only needs 300 ounces of gold to reach his ultimate season goal. If the Ness crew is able to protect Monster Red and keep it running even in this foul weather,
No secret, Rick spent a lot of time and money chasing after big nuggets last year on a hunch. I hope this isn't last year all over again. I don't need that.
they may be able to save the season after all. This is a huge accomplishment, given that they were delayed for days. Rick is sure that if they just keep mining deeper into the Raleigh Valley, they will soon reach their goal with even more gold to spare. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed Rick Ness's biggest gold hauls and his comeback into the gold mining industry. Let us know in the comments what your favorite part was. If you want to keep up to date with the latest Gold Rush content, make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn notifications on so you never miss an update.